Hello again to the one, two, three, or four people that are listening. I am back, or we're back, with my episode 2 of my podcast, Calling It All Back, where I am breaking down tracks from my comedy album of the same name. Hope everyone is doing well out there. I'm not going to keep this too long. I'm going to actually just get right into it. The next track that I'm going to play a snippet of is track number 9, which is called Quick Trip. And this happens to be another favorite track of mine off the album. So here is a snippet of Quick Trip, and I'll be back to do a little breakdown of it.
You know what I love coming back to Wisconsin for is the Quick Trips. Come on, they're the best gas stations around, man. I love them. Their prices are great. All the items you can get, it's awesome. I love them. I mean, they sell everything, right? You can get groceries, automobile accessories, alcohol, feminine products. But the one item that you can get at Quick Trip is condoms. Yeah, that's what I say. Like, what the? You would think what a store named Quick Trip. That would have been the first item on the shelf. We're going to start with condoms. We're going to start with condoms today. That's what we're going to. Those are going to sell out real quick at the Quick Trip.
And all right, that is Quick Trip. And you know, Quick Trip is one of my favorite gas stations. Like, as far as out of all the gas stations that I've been in, they're great, man. But I do think it's funny that they don't sell condoms. Like, it's like they sell alcohol, but not condoms. Like, and it's like, that doesn't make sense. You would think if you're just not going to sell condoms, then don't sell alcohol? And I did some research on that, and I guess it goes against their values, right? I guess they're lean more on the conservative side when it comes to sex. But I guess they're forgetting that sometimes alcohol leads to sex too, you know, so I don't get it. But they're still one of my favorite gas stations around. And that's really all the breakdown I'm going to do on that joke. If you get a chance, hopefully you can listen to the whole joke, because there's some callbacks in that joke where I reference Just Married and Divorced. I reference me selling fake crack, and that as well in this Quick Trip joke. That's another callback. So there's a couple callbacks intertwined in the Quick Trip joke that calls back a couple tracks from earlier in the album. But we're going to keep this going, and the next track I'm going to play a snippet of is the horse joke. So I'm going to cue that up right now, and then I'll come back and do a short breakdown on the horse joke. So here we go.
Jumps on this laptop, goes on to farmersonly.com. It's the Facebook for horses. Sees a horse that he likes, clicks the love emoji, sends his one and only message: I'm looking for a stable relationship.
All right, the horse joke. The way this one came about, I was reading the newspaper. I still like to read the newspapers. And there was a Wisconsin man that was convicted of trying to have a relationship with a horse. Which, yeah, I mean, you don't get no weirder than that, right? So I kind of wrote a joke about it, and it's actually, this joke is a little longer joke, so if you get a chance, I hope you get a chance to listen to it, because I kind of make a whole story about it while I'm talking about he's watching the Kentucky Derby. His wife goes on a lunch date, you know, he closes the blinds, and, you know, I mean, I correlate Facebook, it's like with the Facebook for horses. It's just a whole joke that I kind of thought out, probably did a little bit too much thinking about it. And then obviously, when I say, stable relationship, come on, I know that's easy, but I thought that was pretty funny myself. And then at the end, I kind of ended with Secretariat. If you get a like I said, you didn't hear it in a snippet, but yeah, it all goes together. But I will say, when I did that joke in, Washington State, and apparently they had a guy that had some issues that was having some relations with a horse too, except he was a little different from Wisconsin, where the guy in Wisconsin wanted to be the aggressor in having the relations with a horse. This guy in Washington wanted the horse to be aggressive with him with having relations. So it was the opposite way. And I'm like, man, this is weird. I don't know if it's just both states with the letter W. That's why it's all weird. But yeah, I didn't want to write a joke about that. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I think I got one horse joke. I don't need to do another one. I'm good. But all right, we're gonna keep this going. I am going to play the next track off, next snippet off my album, which is track number 11, and that snippet is called "Pulled Over." So I will play that, and I'll come back and do a little breakdown on "Pulled Over."
Then he goes, didn't you see the sign that says speed limit is enforced by radar? I'm like, yeah, but I'm not getting pulled over by radar right now. Our radar didn't give me my DUI. Our radar's never had its own show and theme song. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? He starts singing too. What you gonna do when they come? Hope they say it in my back window like bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? We did a duet. What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys. He's like, you know what? That was pretty good. Takes my info, goes back to a squad car. About a minute later, a K9 unit pulls up. True story, to search my 2007 Kia with over 300,000 miles in my Wisconsin plates. I guess they got a hot tip that I was smuggling illegal white cheddar. I know that was cheesy. Okay, see, that's...
All right, peeps, that is snippet for track number 11, Pulled Over. And that actually is a true story. That did happen. I got pulled over in Arizona by a trooper. And, and his reason for pulling me over was I didn't slow down to the adjusted speed limit. But, I wanted to kind of argue that he didn't give me enough time to slow down, but my iPhone was kind of dead, and I was like, well, there's no need for both of us to be dead. It's like, I can charge my iPhone, but I can't charge me. And actually, that is what I just told you guys, that's the beginning of the joke that you don't hear. I kind of say that as well, but it was true. That is true. I did get pulled over by a state trooper in Arizona. And the K9 unit did pull up, and they did pull all my stuff out of my Kia and search my Kia and pulled all my stuff out. And so that's true. There's that's honest. That's the honest to God truth. That really did happen. And that's basically the breakdown of that joke. I'm going to keep this going, and I'm going to play the next snippet I have for you peeps is called two of my favorite shows, but I'm going to break it down into two separate snippets. The first snippet is Naked and Afraid, so I'm going to play that first, and then I'll come back and break that down. So here is Naked and Afraid.
Favorite shows that I like to watch, one being Naked and Afraid. Round of applause, Naked and Afraid. Yeah. It's been a long time when I'm looking for blurred boobies. Like, oh, come on. Pop out.
Yeah, and I'm not lying about that. That used to be one of my shows, man. I used to love me some Naked and Afraid. I don't watch it as much anymore. It's like now they kind of got couples with it and stuff like that. I'm like, that's a little bit much. But that definitely was one of my favorite shows that I used to watch. Probably one of the only reality shows that I used to like. And the funny part about that show that I like is that they would let fans do live tweeting as it's going on. So you would see like tweets scrolling across the screen. And I remember one time one wife tweeted, watching Naked and Afraid keeps me and my husband together. That was an actual tweet. And then 10 minutes later, her husband tweeted, my wife's naked, drunk, and I'm afraid. Okay, see, that is the first part of the joke that I did for you guys that I didn't play a snippet of. But if you get a chance, that's the other part of the joke that you can hear. But I don't watch Naked and Afraid as much anymore. But that's basically the breakdown of that joke. And I'm going to play the other snippet for two of my favorite shows, which is Murder, She Wrote. And this is my absolute favorite show. I still watch this show. But I'm going to play a snippet of that, and then I'll come back and do a little breakdown on Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote was on air from 1984 to 1996. Think about that. 1984 to 1996. You gotta be a good show to run through the 80s and 90s. Come on, right? The 80s and 90s were rough, right? Think about that. That just means during the 80s crack era, all the way up to the 90s Rodney King riots, Bill Clinton Monica Lewinsky scandal, the death of Tupac, white people were murdering each other on network TV at an alarming rate. I'll take it one step further. Murder, She Wrote was the original version of the first 48 for white people.
All right, that is Murder, She Wrote, and that's another one of my favorite jokes off the album or tracks off the album. And I still do watch Murder, She Wrote. Like, I'm a big fan of Murder, She Wrote. Like, I used to watch it on Hallmark, but now I watch it on Pluto TV, on Classic TV. Oh, man, I've probably seen almost every episode of Murder, She Wrote. And, you know, kind of the way, like, I kind of, the way that joke came about is, first of all, I did, like, some background, because I didn't know that Murder, She Wrote was on air for that long. It was on air from, like, the mid-'80s to the mid-'90s. Like, 84 to 96 is when Murder, She Wrote was on. And if you think about it, that was kind of a rough time for us. You know, that was a rough time frame because you had, like I said, the crack era. That was the 80s. You know, then you had the 90s with the Rodney King riots. You know, and then you had the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky scandal, and then you had the death of Tupac. And I think even George Burns died that year too. I think he was like 100, if I'm thinking right. But I didn't. That's not a part of the joke. But that was just some things I was looking at, like things that had happened in the 90s. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong on that, but I thought it was. But I just, you know, thought, man, that's a lot going on. And then the backdrop to that is you have this show called Murder, She Wrote on network TV with a leading lady, and it's all white people that are murdering each other. Like, I'm like, oh, my goodness. Like, that's just... Yeah, that writes itself, you know, and then me making a correlation with it being the white version of the first 48. I mean, I know it's only a TV show because, you know, if you watch the first 48, it's mostly black and brown people, you know, so I go with Murder, She Wrote, which is mostly white people. I thought it was a great joke, personally. That's just, but you can hear a guy groan at the end like, here we go. So that's the breakdown of Murder, She Wrote. We're going to keep this going and play the next track, which is a snippet of the next track, which is Dad Drivers. So I'm going to cue that up and play that, and then I will do a breakdown on Dad Drivers. So here we go. Dad Drivers.
I'm not a dad myself, but I believe dads are the best drivers in traffic. One brave dad in the back, like, heck yeah. But here's the thing, ladies and moms, I'm not picking on you. I think you're great drivers. I just think dads are better drivers in traffic. And I'm not a dad myself, so I'm not a great driver in traffic either. The reason why I say dads are the best drivers in traffic is because you know for a fact they're not going to pull out.
All right, that is track number 15, Dad Drivers. And the way that joke came about, how I started writing that joke, I originally started out writing it about, because it was like you see these signs or stickers that says baby on board, you know, and I kind of started writing with something in that, and then I had seen a bumper sticker that said proud dad, right? And I don't know if I was in traffic one day and I was just like, you know what, would be funny if I say something about dads being the best drivers in traffic. I mean, it's a silly joke, but it's funny, you know, and it's a quick joke. There's really not much more. Well, there's a little more to that joke if you listen to the whole thing. But I that's kind of one of my favorite quick jokes that I do. I'm not really going to do much more breakdown on that. I mean, it's self-explanatory. But I'm going to keep this going. I think I'm going to do one more track before I end this episode 2. We're going to do, the next track we're going to do a snippet of track number 20, which is In a Drive-Thru. So here we go. Track number 20, In a Drive-Thru. So I will play that snippet and then I'll come back and do a breakdown of that joke.
I saw a young lady digging in her nose in a drive-thru. True story. I saw a young lady digging in her nose in a drive-thru. Here's the thing. If you're going to dig in your nose in public, there's only one place you should be doing that. A 4-way stop sign. No one knows when to go. Get your dig on.
So that joke right there came about. That was something that happened. I was I don't know if I was just driving past. I might have been in a parking lot, and it was a Burger King, and there was a lady digging in her nose in the drive-thru, and all I could think was, man, her poor kids are probably like, can't wait till mom gets home. And I'm thinking, oh, you could probably wait till mom gets home. She's busy right now. Mom's a little busy. And I correlated with a four-way stop sign, because no one really knows when to go at a four-way stop sign. No one's paying attention. Just go ahead and get your dig on, especially in these times. Too many people on social media, people at the four-way stop sign, either Facebook posting, sending out a tweet, taking an Instagram pic, or making a TikTok video. There's 4 things they can do at the four-way stop sign. You guys see how I put that together? See how I'm clever? No. But that's basically the gist of that joke. Nothing more, nothing less to that. But like, it's like I'm trying to do some of these where you can, like, when I get to the end of breaking down my album, you'll hear some of these all in a callback at the end, where I call everything back. At the end of the album. But we're gonna end episode 2 of this Calling All Back podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm just trying something different, having fun with it, and yeah, seeing how it goes. So we're gonna end it like that. I'll be back with episode 3, and I appreciate anybody that's listening. Until the next one, have a good one.